What did you learn from your team just from watching them tonight?
I think the red-blue game is always about a number of things, one of which has nothing to do with our own team. And I think it's an opportunity for us as a program to thank the best fans in college basketball. And it's not just because they show up 14,500 every game, regardless of who we play, but it's their loyalty, and it's sticking with us even inside of a game. The difference in McHale is when we're not playing well and we need the home crowd, they're always there to lift us up. And I think a lot of places it's not like that. And I think everybody that's a part of our program, but this year's team, knows that it's not like that everywhere in college basketball. So it's a day of appreciation towards the community, Tucson, our fans, and anybody that loves Arizona basketball. In terms of our own team, it also gives our guys a chance to play in front of a big crowd, which all of these guys at some point have, but there's nothing that can simulate 14,500 when really for the last 5 or 6 months there's been no people in the stands when we've practiced or scrimmaged with officials. So it kind of gets the butterflies out of their system and gives them a sign of things to come.
Sean, Chase Jeter, 14 rebounds in 21 minutes. How much of that is an indication of what he can do in an actual game?
Well, we believe in Chase. The one thing that's different about Chase is he's not an incoming freshman. He was a high school McDonald's All-American some time ago, Bishop Gorman High School, where he was very well coached. Obviously, he was a part of Duke's program for 2 years. That speaks for itself. And a year ago, he practiced with us and was a real part of what we did every day, playing against DeAndre and Duson, Ira every day. It was a great experience. And really, the 3 years that Chase has been a part of college basketball, think about who he's practiced against. So he's a veteran, and he's one of our leaders. That's why we named him captain. And I don't think you can judge Chase on one thing. I think where he's at his best is he does a lot of different things. Very good on defense. Rebounding is one of his strengths. And there'll be times where we'll depend on him to score. But we're thrilled to have him, and he's a great kid. He's one of the best students that I've ever coached as well. He'll graduate in December. And I think it has obviously a bright future, not only on the court, but also off the court as well.
How would you assess the player Ryan Luther?
Ryan, a lot of the things that I just mentioned about Chase, ditto for Ryan. He's a graduate of the University of Pittsburgh and has played in the ACC for 2 great coaches, Kevin Stallings and Jamie Dixon. And if it wasn't for Ryan getting injured a year ago, we wouldn't have the opportunity to have him here at Arizona. But before he got injured in the games that he played in, he averaged a double-double. And playing in the ACC for those coaches and where he's at in his career, it's one of the quiet things that we have going for us on this year's team, and that we have almost a hidden group of experienced players. They're not experienced per se playing in games for Arizona, but in Chase and Ryan's case, you think about how many games they've been a part of, seasons they've been a part of. That experience is something that I hope helps us.
What do you evaluate as Devonair's strengths?
The best is yet to come for Devonair. You can't judge him at all on today. Some of the things you saw is a sign of things to come in the positive light. But physically, he'll get bigger and stronger and get more accustomed to playing at this level. But great kid, hasn't missed one thing since he's been here. And he came here in June. So anything we did in the summer, anything we've done so far this fall, he's been a part of. And his consistent effort is something we're really excited about, because as much as it's about these freshmen being talented, being coachable, having a great attitude is also a part of it. And he brings that to the table.
What do you see Ira's role?
Ira can play both the 5 and the 4, and he'll play both of those positions for us. We're not blessed with great depth this year up front like we've been. We have to stay healthy, and we have to stay out of foul trouble. But Ira is one of our most athletic players. Defensively, he can guard a number of people. He's got quickness, speed, agility. Biggest point is he always has to play the game with great effort. If he does that, then you see his athleticism show up, and he can impact the game in a lot of different ways.
What do you like about kind of how he's developed that mid-range jumper? Is that something that you wanted him to do?
We've worked hard this offseason, even from behind the three-point line, shooting free throws, because that's something that he has to continue to develop. But he's worked extremely hard this summer on that. And all of these guys that were here a year ago as freshmen, Alex Barcelo, Brandon Randolph, Emmanuel Acott, and Ira Lee, you have to remember they were a part of a really, really strong recruiting class. DeAndre was the fifth player that was a part of it, and everybody thinks of him, and rightfully so. But those other four were all valued, and each one of them were recruited at a very high level. They were a part of what we did last year. And sometimes the most significant jump a college basketball player makes is in between his freshman and his sophomore seasons, especially if they have a bigger role in their second year. And all of those guys have a bigger role awaiting them, and they've worked very hard, and we expect them to all be much improved from where they were a year ago.
Can you talk about his personality? During media day, he was very contrite and very open, which was very refreshing, but he speaks with very good personality. Can you talk about that, just how he is?
Ira Lee is a tremendous teammate. He has all the qualities that you want as part of your team and program. He just always has a smile on his face, is very energetic. Like we talked about, he's a high effort, very, very athletic type of player, and that type of player is contagious. And I think that he's in a good place right now with the role that he has and how hard he's worked.
When you talk about Ryan, how do you expect where do you expect he's best to operate? You talked a little about he may go 4 out. I mean, he seems like he has the versatility to be out on the perimeter a lot. Or where do you anticipate using him the most, I guess?
Well, Ryan's a very good shooter at every level. Around the basket, can shoot the three-point shot. So he's one of our top 3 or 4 three-point shooters. So he can really be in one of those 4-out positions. Excellent free throw shooter. You might have seen a little bit today where he's a clever passer, takes care of the basketball, and he's been very well coached. There aren't too many coaches in our game that are better than Kevin Stallings and Jamie Dixon. And those guys, they coach their teams, and Ryan's been in really good practices. He's played good defense and offense, and it's very, I think one of the things that we feel so good about him is they loved coaching him. So he's also an incredible teammate and good person, someone that we're, again, relying a lot on for leadership and experience because, that's not something we have a lot of.
Tell him about having to come in and establish that leadership right away.
One thing he's learning right now is our team needs him to be productive. He's more than happy to be a good team player. He's the ball mover, sets good screens, does what he's supposed to. If he misses an assignment on offense or defense, he's very hard on himself. We want him to play with confidence, and we want him to look to score, because when he looks to score, he's only going to make good decisions. He knows what he's doing out there. So being more aggressive, I think, is the message that he's hearing a lot from us.
What are some of the main takeaways or things you want to see in games like this, these scrimmage games, these Red Blue games? What are some of the things, I guess, that obviously the score doesn't count, doesn't really matter much, but what are the things you're watching from your guys, and what do you want to see them do in a game like this?
Well, one thing you want to see is, who's nervous, who isn't, who's going to deviate from what we do every day in practice because of crowds at the game. And we really didn't have any of that going on today. Once in a while that happens. But, you want to get through a game like this without injuries. You want to see what we work on every day show up. And although we were far from perfect, it was a great experience for our players.
Thoughts on Brandon, just how he's fitting in, and it's obvious that he's got a lot of talent. He might have the ball in his hands a lot.
Williams? Mm-hmm. So Brandon's going to play the 1 and the 2. I think he's your prototypical today's guard in that he does both score and make his teammates better. It's very hard to judge him right now because he's only had 10 practices with us, and right out of the gates we're introducing 2 positions. So he doesn't just play one position, he's playing 2. And if there's anybody that should be somewhat confused or feeling like a robot, he should be that guy. But the more that he continues to practice and the days add up, he'll be more comfortable. And, you know, I wouldn't trade him for really any guard that's out there as an incoming freshman, because he does it every day, and he's very, very coachable. Humble, great teammate, showed up here without any type of ego, and I think it's refreshing, and it's something that we really respect and appreciate.
Basketball IQ is high. He's able to play the 1 and 2 and still get everybody involved.
He has a great feel for the game. He's from Crespi High School, very, very good high school basketball program and coach. And, you know, that's one thing that you learn when these guys have been coached by other people and are held accountable in programs where winning and losing matters and effort. They're held accountable, which Brandon was. It really eases their transition, and we really see that early on with Brandon.
Could you go at least early while he's learning it at the point guard, mostly with Justin, maybe Alex a little bit, and have him stay strictly off the ball, or do you think he's far enough along you can play him at both right now?
He'll be able to play both positions day one. That's what today he played more one because it was a red-blue scrimmage, but when we're all on the same bench, he'll be able to move back and forth and I think play both positions equally effective. He'll be equally effective there.
Richard Jefferson officially retired yesterday. What have your interactions with him been like?
You know, I'll say this about all of our former players. From the second that I walked into McHale Center 9.5 years ago, there hasn't been a more welcoming, better group of people than our former players, none of which, when I came here, had played for me. Now, 9.5 years later, we have a blend. And those guys, they care a lot about our program. And I think it says a lot about our fans and a lot about the university that the experience they had here is one that they want to continue to give back. And, one of the things you have a great perspective on is I think the Richard Jefferson gym is maybe 11 years old. I could be off a year. But Richard played in the NBA for 17 years. For him, 6 years into his NBA career, to give back the way he did is incredible. I mean, that gift that everybody benefits from, our practice facility being named after him. I know it feels odd when he's here, that he has a building with his name on it. But the fact that he gave back at that time in his life, it says all you need to know about him and his character and his love for Arizona. But he deserves a heartfelt congratulations from all of us. And you play in the NBA for a year, that's quite an accomplishment. If you've been there for 17 years, that says it all. And I'm glad that he was able to walk away when he chose to. And maybe he'll visit us a little bit more often now.
Do you have Bayless talk to you guys at all? The guys at all while he was here?
We didn't really have time because he got here close to the ceremony. But, I said it out there on the court, Jared being a one-and-done player, and now he's close to graduating this May, which he will graduate. I mean, that's quite an accomplishment. And, again, playing in the NBA for a decade, I know he was here at a unique time of transition. But, again, he's always been great to our program, and it's nice to see him in the rafters.
You don't have to disclose this now, but can you see your starters starting to shape up and your rotation kind of work?
I think so. We don't have a lot of choices up front, so I think you can fill in the blanks there. But we do have a lot of interchangeable players. Emmanuel Acott showed you out there a lot of things that he's been showing us in practice, and I think it's Emmanuel's versatility that really stands out. So, he's someone that whether he starts or not, he's going to be a really big part of what we do because you can plug him in a number of roles.
Coach, you talked about the red-blue game also being for the fans and the diehards and everything, and there's a different look for the red-blue game because there's a lot of fans that kind of represent more of the general population of what Tucson is that don't have access to tickets to the games because, the prices or everybody else has been holding those seats forever. What's it mean for you to see those fans that maybe you normally wouldn't see at a regular game that are just, also bearing down in the same way in the crowd as the others that have the season tickets?
No, that's a great point and question. when we first started the red-blue game, and it's grown, obviously, I was always shocked at the energy, you know, because it's one thing to have 14,500 people for an inter-squad scrimmage, but it's almost like game, you know, it's like a big game. You're getting ready to play a Pac-12 game, and it confused me for one time. But once I established in my mind and we all figured out, well, who's in the building, it's just amazing to see them, their passion for our program, their passion for Arizona basketball, their passion for the U of A, and to have them with us, it's very meaningful, and it adds to this event because there is a spirit that I don't think exists at a lot of other events like this, because you're right. You know, they're not sitting there like they've been here before. In many cases, this is that one shot they have a chance to see this year's team, and we recognize that. And a great thanks to them, anybody who attends today's game. I mean, it's 12 noon, it's October. They don't have to do that. And by the way, it's on TV. So for them to come out, it means a lot. It also sets the tone for our future because I think everybody knows this. It's always a big recruiting weekend. And, you know, when you talk about the layers of a program, you have the past, which today we honored DeAndre and Jared. And then, you know, you have the current group of guys who get a chance to play in front of a packed house. And then, obviously, those who aren't here yet get a chance to really touch and feel what it feels like to play in a first-class, top-notch program.
Was this deal with Omar, was he missed practices too, or is it a longer-term thing, or was he just out today?
It's a longer-term thing. You know, he missed today because of personal reasons, and I think we'll expound on that as we move through this week.
Thanks.
Yep.
Luther and Ira Lee, post game, fire away.
Brandon, as a freshman, what was it like, you know, just coming out and seeing all the fans at McHale Center tonight?
It was actually a dream come true. I mean, like just coming to the last two Red and Blues, just seeing how that was, and I was committed at the time, so I was like, wow, just looking around, 14,000 people. So it was an honor, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Ryan, it felt like you kind of got into a flow there in the second half. Just nervousness maybe early, and you kind of felt more comfortable at that point?
Yeah, I felt pretty comfortable, but really just us as a team. We had a couple turnovers early on that led to some transition, so we were just trying to take care of the ball, move the ball, and my teammates found me on some open shots, and so I'm just glad the red team was able to win.
How much of a different player are you compared to last year?
Very different. I mean, I say I have a lot more confidence this year. I know what to expect. I kind of know where to be now, and I'm just more comfortable.
More mobile?
Yeah, yeah, more mobile too. Yeah, I lost a lot of weight, so that helps.
How does that feel?
Feels great. Feels great. I know I won't get winded easily. I know I could help my team out in the long run, forever.
Ira, how have you been trying to improve that mid-range jumper, which kind of looks good for you today?
Worked on it a lot this past summer. Me, coach, my teammates, got some extra time in, especially when I went back home to LA. So I'm confident in it, and it's a shot I'll definitely take a lot this year.
Why did you feel like maybe that was needed to be an important addition to your game?
I mean, just to spread the floor a little more, give us a couple more options. You know, we already have great scorers on our team, but if I can help out any little bit, then I'll do that.
Ryan, did you guys have a preseason scrimmage or anything like this at Pitt, and if so, how did it compare?
Yeah, we had a similar kind of inter-squad scrimmage like this, a blue gold game, but obviously, I mean, the Tucson and, you know, McHale was awesome, you know, to be out there for the first time and see how passionate these fans are pretty special, and just excited, you know, to do that, I guess 17 more times this year.
Does it feel, being a grad transfer, you're coming right away from being at Pitt and playing. I mean, does it feel any different to be out there in an Arizona uniform with fans?
Yeah, I mean, it feels different. Obviously, I was there for 4 years, but at the end of the day, I'm just, you know, taking my experience, taking, you know, what I learned, and then, you know, fitting in with these guys and just, you know, trying to help the team out in any way.
How difficult, Ryan, is it to kind of, obviously you're going to be a guy that's going to be expected to lead, to come in a new situation and take that role, and kind of how do you try to seize that right away?
Just be myself. You know, obviously we have a lot of new guys, but a big sophomore class and some good young guys. But really just try to lead by example and just play my game. Don't do anything that I can't do. Just play within myself and be aggressive, be there for my teammates.
In a game like this where wins or losses down the line, it doesn't really matter, but how much does it go as far as bragging rights with you and your teammates that the red team wins?
These are me? Well, I lost, so
I
forgot. I took that pretty hard right now, but it was whatever. Like you said, it's a scrimmage game. This game was really just for just get some insight. Like today, I had 3 turns. I got to be better with the ball, and as a team, we just got to be better overall. And like Coach said, you're not even gonna watch this game, so this is really just to show the fans what we're about and what to expect in the long run.
What's the chemistry been like early with you guys as a team?
It's been great. I mean, we do everything together. When we say all in, we really mean it. Just on and off the court, we're just way more together than ever.
Brandon, how would you say this game compared to practices? I mean, was this like you guys had scrimmages and practices? Was it similar? Was this a pretty good representation, or did things kind of jump out at you at all that were a little different the way it played
I'd
out?
say it's pretty much the same, just with people watching us. That's my mindset going in here, just practice with people watching, and that was my mindset going into this game.
How's it been going against Justin a lot? I mean, you guys have little different looks, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great point guard, and I play against him every day in practice, so today was no different. Like I said, I use this as practice with people watching us.
Do you feel like you wish you could add a few of those dunks back during the dunk contest and everything?
Nah, I don't regret any of my dunks. We put on a show last year, so it's kind of hard to top last year. I was just happy to be out
Do
there.
you feel like something like that, your body needs to be warmed up a little bit more,
Yeah.
stretched out and everything?
Yeah, definitely. It's early. I mean, last year we went at like 6 o'clock at night. Today we went at 12, so my body wasn't ready for that, but it's okay.
Chase obviously posted some good numbers on the boards. Is that kind of reminiscent of what he does in practice? Is he kind of a guy that attacks the boards and how?
Yeah. He's our only 6'11", 7-footer, but he plays hard. He's a great leader. That's why he's one of our captains, and he had 15 rebounds today. So that's what he does every day. I think he's a gold jersey winner right now, so wasn't a surprise for us.
Yeah, Ryan, what's impressive about that in like a 22-minute game, you get 15 rebounds?
Yeah, Chase is a smart player. Obviously, we mentioned his rebounding. To put up numbers like that in such a short time is impressive. But it's been tough going against him every day in practice. Going against each other, I think it's been good. But he's really a great teammate, great leader, and we expect more great things from him.
Anything else for the guys?
What do you guys think of Devonair? He seems like between the dunk and the game, he showed some hops out there and some things he can do.
Has a lot of upside. He's very talented. I think he's going to do great things here.
Did he surprise you guys at all in practice?
To be honest, he does that stuff.
Brandon, you're probably familiar with him.
Yeah, I know him from high school.
Yeah.
We're both from LA. Yeah, we both from LA. So we play ones all the time. So we just teaching him how to go downhill. And once he does that, he can be unstoppable.
All right, thank
Thanks,
you,
guys.
everyone.